Which cartoon character had the best character development and why? Philip J. Fry from Futurama. I know it's a comedy show, but the most heartbreaking moments involve Fry and just how much he means to everyone or how much he does to help. I am only just realizing his growth as a character as I grow older too. Down in the dumps. Not so smart pizza delivery boy who is catapulted into a new life, and what does he do? Forgives his brother and appreciates his nephew, is best friends and roommates with a robot who has almost as many problems as he does. Was the first kind person to Leela and was ready to die for her on multiple occasions. Saved the professor from humiliation. Saves universe more than once and comforts his mother just by dream hugging her, secretly knowing that's what they both needed. Fry deserves more love and appreciation. Edit. Thank you everyone for the awards and replies. I wrote this at 1 am and had a good dopamine boost from all the upvotes and replies. My first silver award was from a comment on r/Futurama. Do all these awards feel like they come from the right place and right time? Maybe I'll go buy some poplars. Bam. Cuzco from Emperor's New Groove. Spoiled brat with everything. To spoiled brat with nothing. To less spoiled brat learning about teamwork. To fairly normal person. To getting everything back but not being spoiled anymore, but rather respectable. That scene where he saved Pacha's life and was celebrating was a true turning point. He realized he could get a great feeling by doing good rather than just fulfilling his own desires. Also a good lesson for the target audience. Edit. Spelling. While Zuko is the best one, Azula's decay into insanity was good. Sure, she starts evil, but all her frustrations add up. I feel like Hank Hill really grew throughout the series. It's really a show about the father-son relationship, and you get to see how his relationship with Cotton affected him. He doesn't fully understand Bobby, but I think his motivation in trying to comes from not wanting to be like Cotton. Carl from Up. I'm still mind blown that Pixar was able to create such a compelling story that addressed grief and loss, the realization childhood dreams, being a father figure, and the search for meaning in life all into one animated movie. Edit. Wow. First gold. Thank you, kind stranger. Raven from Teen Titans. She grew up thinking that destiny was an unchangeable reality, succumbing to the threats of her father, and living a life full of anxiety and isolation because of her fears. Before dying, she had the hope that she was wrong about everything and gave each of her friends a portion of her soul to survive the brought forth apocalypse, granting them the chance they needed to survive and fight a bit longer. After all was said and done, and after it had cost her her very own life, she finally understood that her destiny was what she chose for it to be and not what others told her it was. Though she failed the first time, she was given a second chance to change it all and took it. Having grown from that experience, she came back stronger, more balanced, and more trusting in those who loved her, chose who truly was her family and ended up saving her world from her father. Truly a great metaphor for life's choices, free will, and the dooming feeling of a predestined life. A great arc for a great character. Edit. For those asking, Raven sacrifices herself in the first episode of the 3-part finale to season 4 called The End. Zuko and Katara from Atla. Though Zuko has very well-known character arc, Katara grows so much throughout the show. She meets the guy who killed her mother. She learned bloodbending and so many more experiences. She grows from a mere child to a strong young woman. It is very interesting to watch so many characters grow in the same show throughout the story. Ice King from Adventure Time. Sokka from Atla. He is underrated and often overshadowed by Zuko, partly because his character is often used for comedic relief. However, his development from a sexist alpha male mentality kid to a true leader is great to look at and something a lot of viewers could actually relate to more than to Zuko. Both Woody and Buzz from Toy Story, especially the first one. Woody goes from being Andy's favorite to playing second fiddle early on, and has a really big shock to his system. Then he goes on a redemption arc where he gets rid of his jealousy. Buzz goes from believing he's the real Buzz Lightyear to having reality crash down on him, and then overcomes his depression when he finds his new purpose minus to bring kids joy. Megamind. Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls. That whole show had great characters, but Stan had the most interesting ups and downs. Ava from Wall-E. Damn, when she tried to wake up dead, Wall-E broke my heart. Excluding Zuko, as that's a given, Toph from Otla has one of my favorite developments of all time, and it's extremely subtle. Her arc revolves around two things: accepting who she is even with her insecurities, and accepting the love she gets from the gong. She hides a lot of herself behind the tough persona early on, especially in the episode Bitter Work, where she uses a very tough love approach to teach Aang earthbending. But in scenes such as her story in Tales of Ba Sing Se and her conversation with Aya, we see her start to accept herself for who she is, and she opens up more and more throughout the series. It's overshadowed by bigger character developments like Zuko's and Sokka's, unfortunately. Edit. Who gave me the Ignite Award on a post about a character that gets her feet burned at one point. You heartless monster. Diane Nguyen from BoJack Horseman. I like how she came to terms with herself despite starting out with a false sense of self. Pops from Regular Show. He seems like an old goofball, but, spoiler for show that ended years ago, he ends up giving his life to save the universe. Currently rewatching Lilo and Stitch, and I wanna toss in Stitch. Sure, he became more of a mascot to sell toys, but the movie does a great job showcasing his change from being solely bent on destruction to an essential part of Lilo and Nonny's family. Edit. God damn it, just got to the part where he realizes that he is the cause of the destruction of Lilo and Nonny's family and he leaves. Sunuvabich, why am I more sentimental now than when I was a child? All the characters from As Told by Ginger. They probably had the most realistic growth seen in a kid's cartoon. Plus they changed clothes daily and sometimes repeated parts of outfits, which was a nice touch. Vegeta. He went from a villain to reluctant hero / rival to Goku to husband and father, then he had his redemption in the Buu saga. Philip J. Fry. Rigby from Regular Show. He goes from lazy fuck that doesn't care about anything to a great guy that truly does care about his friends. I really love Simba. Goes from a spoiled kid to wanting to be brave to impress his dad to experiencing unbelievable trauma and guilt to repressing it all as a carefree young adult to finally accepting his destiny as king. But even when he goes back to fight Scar, he isn't willing to really break free of his guilt until Scar reveals that he killed Mufasa. Ashoka Tano from Clone Wars. What a great series. Aside from the gong in Avatar, I'm going to say Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. He went from this unconfident little kid who was struggling to find his place in society to a brilliant leader who forged his own path. Hashtag Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz. Every episode we get more and more of his backstory to see why he is the way he is. Edit. Reducing font. Not sure what happened, but apparently people were offended. Edit 2. Making it big again. Because Dr. Doofenshmirtz used the Ambiganator. Flynn Rider Entangled. Some of the original Magic School Bus kids were pretty well developed. The reason Carlos is a joker is because he doesn't get as much attention at home because of his paraplegic brother. Keisha is more mature because she's being raised by her grandma, which leaves to wonder why her parents are absent, dead, missionaries, deadbeats. Phobe's father is blind, which led her to be an activist and always looking to help others. Wanda's mom is a herpetologist and an all-around badass. With that, and trying to be an awesome big sister to her baby brother, Wanda herself is quite the tomboy and badass. And so on. Over the Garden Wall had so many amazing character developments, and lots of twists and turns. Pacifica Northwest from Gravity Falls. Started off as a snobby rich girl before mellowing out and almost stopping the apocalypse. Faye Valentine. If your heart didn't shatter into a million pieces for her during the VHS tape scene or the stick-drawn bed or when she's pleading with Spike not to leave, then I don't know what to say. BoJack Horseman. The Elric brothers from Full Metal Alchemist. Edit. Spelling. It's been a while since watching it. I have watched both FMA and FMB, both good in their own way, but Brotherhood followed much closer to the source material. Also edit. I understand that the brothers don't change very much throughout the series, but their story develops significantly, is fleshed out, with a rich history, backstory, and through the way we see them interact with other characters. I would argue, this is where we observe change in the brothers. In the maturation of their relationships, both with LT Armstrong and their childhood trainer / guardian are good examples. Our knowledge / perception of what exactly has transpired changes significantly through the series development. Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. In Ben 10, Alien Force, Ben really took the position as leader of the group serious, and every bad thing that happened, he blamed himself. This is a nice contrast to his old self in original Ben 10, in which he was just a cocky, hot-headed, 10-year-old boy who was just still learning about his powers. Enzo Matrix from Reboot. It got real when mainframe got opened up to the web. Subscribe, like and comment if you hate outros, begging you to subscribe, like and comment.